What's up, ladies? Welcome back to another episode of our very own Comfy Convos. Hey, hey, hey. I need a theme song. Somebody comment below and give me a theme song. We need a Comfy Convos theme song. Comfy Convo theme song. Insert it right here. Insert it right here. Insert it right here. Thank you guys for coming back. For all the newbies that are here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that way you are notified whenever I upload a Comfy Convos video. And also hit that bell too so that you're notified, because just hitting subscribe doesn't always notify you. So also hit the bell, because the bell's supposed to be the notification so that you know when your girl is dropping. So yes, do that, please. Thank you. But we're going to go ahead and get into the video. If you have already seen the title below, we need a Comfy Convos theme song. That's really still on my brain. But if you've seen the title below, we're going to talk about marriage. Yes, we're going to talk about marriage. So if you are not following me on Instagram, I need you to follow me there, ladies. I'm going to go ahead and tag or place my handle below, either on the screen somewhere or in the description. It's always there. Excuse me if you hear PJ in the back. As you guys know, I am a mom as well, so I'm multitasking here. So yes, and it's the first month of March. It's the first day into March. So let's start off March with marriage. Y'all caught that? Them M's? March and marriage. So definitely the reason why I said follow me on IG, because I do post a lot there if I'm not here. And I do post like questions about different topics you guys are interested in. I just don't want to do things that I want to do. I'm also always going to do whatever God tells me to do. But I do want to also hear from you, because I make these videos and God has me doing it not just for myself, but for you too. So I do want your input. And so a lot of people have requested, or not a lot, but I got a few that have requested that I speak about marriage. So for any of you that are not aware, which is very befitting right now, because like I said, it is the first day of March. It's March 1st, and we're going to talk about marriage. And also this month is my anniversary, where we would be together and not together, but we've been married. It would be 3 years on the 10th. And then we'll be going into our 4th year of marriage. So yes, this is exciting. I definitely want to share things that I have found that has helped me in my marriage as just a woman dealing with marriage and coming into marriage. So I want to help you guys with that. I have some questions that was asked that I definitely want to answer. And yeah, this is going to be a really fun episode. So if you have any other comments or like questions you want to ask me, you guys know that you can comment that down below. I can't talk today. You can comment your questions down below. Once again, you can hit me up on IG and you can inbox me, or you can comment under my photos. Any questions you have or any other topics you want to talk about. Let's go ahead and get right into the video, because we're going to talk about marriage, yo. Okay, so on Instagram, one of the first questions that a young lady sent me, it's a 2-part question. So I'm going to answer the first one. So the first question she asked was, how did I find my husband? And this is not the 2-part, but this is all one question. How did I find my husband? And how did I know he was the one for me after dealing with past relationships that failed? Okay, so that is definitely a great question. And I'm going to try to sum all of this, the answer up very small so that it's not super long. So for me, now let's do a disclaimer really quickly. I am not a psychiatrist. I'm not a marriage counselor. Anything of that sort. So any advice that I give you guys are things that I have personally been through, things that have worked out for me. I'm never going to give you any advice or tell you to do anything that I haven't done myself, or I'm never going to speak on things that I have not dealt with myself. The only way I would find myself doing something like that is if the Holy Spirit gives me something and I'm answering the questions from the Holy Spirit himself. But these questions I will be answering based off of me and my personal experience as a wife, a new wife, because I'm still new. So get into that question. So first was, how did I find my husband? First of all, ladies, I did not find, y'all hear PJ? Okay, so we had PJ together. So first of all, I did not find Kelly. Okay. And I would like to say, or honestly say, it's kind of like Kelly found me, or you can look at it like we kind of found each other, if that makes sense. We've done a video on this. If you have not watched it, I would try to link the but there's a video of how we met. So if you go back into further videos, me and Kelly definitely did a video already based on how we met. So to just sum it up, we met at church. Kelly came to my church as a visitor. He was invited, I think, by his aunt. He came, he liked it, he left, he came back, he joined. Kelly was interested in me first. I was not interested in Kelly at that time. I didn't pay attention to him like that because at the time, he's a pastor as well. At the time, I was not. So I am ordained now, but I wasn't ordained at the time. And I just don't look at ministers like that. Like, I just never have. I put ministers on, like, they're on some type of a pedestal. Not like that I worship them, but I just hold them to a different regards than any other regular dude. And so I wasn't paying Kelly any mind at that time. So he approached me. What caught my attention with Kelly, because at the time that we met, just to be completely honest, I was newly single. I was single for a few years at that time, probably like 3 to 4 years, being single for the first time ever in my life after coming out of almost 9-year relationship that was not the best relationship. Yeah. So that's a whole nother story. So that goes into her question of how did I find my husband, and then how did I find him after allow myself to be with him after being in a failed relationship. So what attracted me to Kelly, or made me catch Kelly's attention, or the way Kelly caught my attention, is he wrote me a long letter. He wrote me a letter and he gave me some flowers. But he sent it by his little cousin at church as I was leaving. He gave him the flowers in the card. It was a card with a letter in it, an envelope. And his cousin brought it to me. And so I read it. And I think I know for a fact that's what caught my attention and made me kind of go, what? Because guys, as we all know, ladies, like men, first of all, they're not really good at expressing themselves for the most part, and definitely not going to express themselves in a note. Like, he wrote down his whole heart. Like, he took his heart out and put it on the letter, like, and gave it to me about how he felt about me. And I thought that was the cutest thing. Like, nobody has done that for me. Like, men are not passing notes anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, they either try to slide in your DMs, or they are yelling out of car windows, or trying to holler and pass. And like, no dude was writing notes. So the note really got to me and made me kind of like, what he on? What's up? What he doing? You know? So that caught my attention. And that's how I found Kelly. I found Kelly in church. God honestly revealed to Kelly before he revealed it to me that I was Kelly's wife. And I had a lot of people telling me that Kelly was my husband. I was going to be marrying Kelly. But the way I work, look, I understand what y'all trying to say. I receive it, everything and the greatness y'all trying to put in my life. But God definitely does speak to me. Just like he may speak to you, he speaks to me. So I was waiting for who God had for me. He knew that I needed him to tell me that I wasn't going to receive that from anybody else. And to be quite frank, a lot of people, nobody knows this, but at that time I was dealing with a lot, and dealing with someone at the time as well. And I was kind of getting tired of it. I was really getting tired of it. And I just wanted more. And around that time, I was going through a lot. And so I would pray a lot in my room by myself. I would pray a lot. I had even written out what I wanted in life, in marriage, in a husband, and in myself. Like, I had it written out what I expected from my husband and what I expected from myself as a wife and as a mother. Like, I was just hitting all aspects of my life of things that I wanted and what I wanted to accomplish and get better at. And so around that time when Kelly came about, that's what I was dealing with. I was going through a lot, and I was in a deep, heavy, like, prayer moment in my life that nobody knew about, like nobody. So it was just between me and God. And so that's how I kept it. And when Kelly came, I seen signs, but because I have been hurt and because I have hurt other people, I'm not going to act victim. I've been hurt and I have given been hurting. I've hurt other people, if that makes sense. So I received it and I've given hurt as well. So at that point, with trying to receive Kelly with the type of man that he is, in the beginning, it was really hard. Even up to, let's be honest, up to recently, I've really, really, really gained a lot of understanding of marriage, understanding of who I am and what my marriage looked like to me and Kelly. And that took me doing a lot of self-reflecting, which is what I've really been doing a lot lately since I've been journaling. I've been doing a lot of self-reflecting of who I was and who I allowed my mistakes to make me become. And there were a lot of there were certain things that I did like about myself that I will keep, but there were a lot of things about me that I had to change. So the thing is, ladies, when you're asking God for a husband and you are seeking for that husband to find you, or I guess you can say you guys bump into each other, but I wouldn't suggest you go looking for him. Like, he needs to pursue you. But that's another video. I would say when God gives you those critiques and or those things or the qualifications that you're looking for, and God reveals them to you. I would say this as well when you're asking God for the type of man that you want. They do say to be specific as far as what you want, like be really specific. I didn't really give God specifics on like looks or like anything. I really was just open to whatever God had for me because being quite honest, you guys, I don't have the most awesome track record with guys. Not that they all treated me bad or anything like that, but as you can see, they didn't work. So I wanted to attract something different from what I was attracting. I didn't want that anymore. And that was in my prayer for God to change whatever it is about me that are attracting the certain type of relationships that I was finding myself in. And so I would say in order to do that, you have to be open to changing things about yourself. You have to really be open to understand that you're not perfect or that your way is not the best way all the time, that there's, nothing wrong with doing things a different way from a different person's perspective. It doesn't make it wrong or right. It's just, other people have other ways of doing things. So for me, I definitely had to be open to receive that I needed to change some things about myself in order for me to truly love the man that God sent me. I hope you caught that and it makes sense to you. So if I need to put an example on it, it's just that the kind of man that Kelly is, he's a very humble man. He is very understanding, very kind-hearted, and would just give you the shirt off his back completely. He would do anything for anybody. He has his flaws, but they're not like what I was used to at all. So for me, coming from relationships where I was used to, I've had relationships where there was infidelity in there. I've had relationships where there was physicality, physical abuse, and mental abuse as well. So going from that to a person that's not physical with me at all, that's not mentally abusive to me at all by any means, um, it was a little different for me to get used to. I wasn't, we always want things to be, nothing can be perfect, but in our mindset of what perfect can be, it was really hard for me to accept that he was completely different from anybody else. I had to get myself in the mindset to not compare him to other relationships. Okay. So once I got to the point where I couldn't compare him to other relationships that I had or comparing him to relationships that I knew other people were in, like I had to look at my relationship and my husband at that time, friend, then boyfriend, then fiance, and then now husband. I had to look at him at face value of who he was and learning who he is. At the same time, relearning who I really am versus who I created myself to be. So her second question was any challenges that I have faced as a wife that I basically have learned from. And there has definitely been challenges in my marriage that we had to face. And a lot of them in the beginning were us understanding each other as far as parents, like we parent differently. Not real big, it's not a big difference, but I did come into the marriage with, because I was a single mom and I did a lot for my kids on a day-to-day basis by myself. Like, yes, my girls would have their dads and they go to their dads on weekends, whenever their weekend or they choose to get them on that weekend or whatever. Um, then they would spend time with their dad. But I mean, let's just be honest, I have my kids majority of the time. And so I just had a routine of the way I did things. And when I got married to Kelly, trying to do what I do and then learning how he do things. In the beginning for me, it was hard because I'm a little bit controlling and I'm very stubborn. Like when I know I want something a certain way or I'm used to certain things being a certain way, I can be so stubborn. Whereas I don't want to hear nothing nobody else got to say. Like you're dead. Like your ideas are dead to me. Like I'm really working on that. I'm working on that. But that is something I had to work on in my marriage, because even though I am the wife and I'm the mom and I do it more so than he, but he would definitely have ideas and his stance on certain things that I was not taking into consideration. And then coming to the part where then we had PJ, which now we're not dealing with his daughters that he's had from previous relationships and my daughters that I had from previous relationships. Now we're dealing with a son that we had together. And so learning to parent together with both of us having different, not big differences, but you know what I'm saying, different ideas of what to do. It was really hard for your girl. Like changing diapers, the way he would change a diaper was just like, whoa, what are you doing? Or make a bottle, like, whoa, what are you doing? We went through that kind of challenge. But once again, for me, I had to, and he did it as well. But I'm speaking as me as the wife. I had to allow myself to just be a wife. For anyone that is a single mom out there and has been a single mom, and then you get married, you are so used to just being a single mom. And with being a single mom, you're playing two roles. You're playing a mother, which is the nurturer, who, you know, the one that's going to cater to them and love on them and fix the little boo-boos. But then you're being dad, who is the disciplinary. And so it's really hard on a woman, and it's really stressful on a woman. It's definitely was for me to be playing both parts. And that definitely was one of my prayers, that I had a spouse that would take all of that stress off of me and allow me to just be the girl. Like, just can I be a girl? Can I be the woman? Can I just be the wife? Can I just be the mom and not be the mom and the husband? Like, that's very stressful playing two parts, because it's not meant for us to play two parts. That's the whole purpose of a husband and a wife, a mother and a father. We have our roles. So as women, if you understand where I'm coming from, if you're a single mom, playing two roles is super, super hard. Also, though, if you've been doing it for so long, playing that role, as much as I wanted to give up that role, it was a little hard in the beginning to give it up because I was doing it for so long. And then also keeping in mind, my kids have dads. So trying to learn how to allow him to still be a disciplinary, but I know he can't discipline like I would discipline, or like their fathers can discipline them, but allowing him to still discipline, you know, and take that weight off of me. Like, If you need something, you can go to Kelly. You don't have to always come to mom. If it's a fight going on between the girls, you guys can go to Kelly, or Kelly can come to you and resolve it. And it doesn't have to always be me. As much as I wanted that, it was hard for me to relinquish that power. But once I did, that was the best thing for me, because now I can just be the mom. For the most part, I still have to be a little bit of the disciplinary for my girls, because once again, he can't do the spankings and things like that. Like, I'm not a kid. I'm knocking them out in a minute, you know what I'm saying? Dude, he can't do that part. But he can diffuse it before he gets there, if you get what I'm saying. So he has been doing that. And that was a challenge for me, really big, because, yeah, I was just so used to doing it. But I prayed for it, but I got what I prayed for and I wasn't ready for it. And I didn't know how to relinquish it because I had it for so long. So the only way that I learned to relinquish it, ladies, was just relinquishing it, just doing it. The only way we learn how to do something is just by doing it. So once I did it, my shoulders went from here to here to here, and I can relax and just be a mom. There's a lot that come with being married. Being married is definitely a beautiful thing. I do believe that society has taken marriage and made a mockery of marriage. So a lot of people are either afraid to get married or don't believe in marriage, or just get married just because they feel like they have to. And I would say that for me, the experience that have learned is just, my marriage is my marriage. And like I said earlier, I don't compare my marriage to anybody else's marriage. I don't compare my husband to any other man. And I don't compare me as being a wife to any other wife. I compare my marriage and who I am in my marriage solely to what God has been teaching me within this marriage. And that is, God always highlights to me that I never said it would be easy, but I did say it would be okay. So when I go through things in my marriage and heart throbbing situations, I always go back to, God did not promise me that it would be easy, but he did promise me that it would be okay. So when me and Kelly get into it, arguments, we are at the point in the beginning, if we did, or when we did have our first few really big arguments in the beginning, like me and Kelly did go through a really situation in the beginning of our marriage because we were new. If anybody know us or know about our story, once again, you could definitely watch the story. But briefly, everything did transpire pretty fast with us. Like, we dated exactly 6 months. He proposed to me on Valentine's Day on the 14th, which had exactly hit 6 months of us being together. And then the following month, March 10th, the following month, not even a year, the next month on the 10th, we got married. So the beginning of our marriage, we were definitely learning one another. We definitely came into our marriage with, and I'll say myself, I definitely came into my marriage with baggage. I didn't know I still had the baggage, but I definitely came into my marriage with baggage that I did not deal with prior to my marriage. And just situations of just like myself, um, my way of thinking, my way of reacting to things, my way of not reacting like I should be reacting. It was a lot. So I would definitely say me and Kelly had got to the point where we had to learn to communicate. And with me and him, I love, and what I say to him is not just communicating, because people just communicate, but they're just talking, but the other person is not understanding. So we communicate to understand each other. We're not just communicating just to get our point across. You get it? Like, I'm not just going to get my point across, but if he's not understanding what I'm saying or where I'm coming from, then all of that talking means nothing because he's not getting it. So I definitely, and he does, but I'm talking about myself because it's about the way I definitely make it a priority that I understand him and he understands me. So once we understand one another, whether we both agree or disagree is the next step. So if we understand what each other is saying, like, I understand what you're saying, I understand why you feel like that, but it still doesn't meet or feel like it's beneficial to how I'm feeling, then that means we need to next find a common ground where it works for both of us and we don't have to deal with that type of situation again. So we communicate to understand one another, and then we go into um then figuring out how can we make whatever the situation is work for our family. And we've gotten really good at that a lot lately. We've also gotten to the part where back in the day when we would argue, if we were really, really, really mad, like I'll be in the room, he'll be in the living room, we would talk via text, like angry texting. But we may we be angry texting, or like if I have a question, like, did you like if I got PJ and I need to know if when last time PJ had a bottle, whatever, I'll text him like when last time he had a bottle. Like when last time you changed his diaper? When last time the kid, like, we'd be in the same house, but we'd communicate via text. Like, it's funny now, but it wasn't funny at the time. If you do that, comment below, just a thumbs up that you did that. Like, I've done that, communicate via text when I'm mad at my husband. Like, I don't know if all marriages do that or not, but we definitely used to do that. And one day we did do that, and it was like recent, not too long ago. We were texting each other. He was in the living room. I wasn't here in the room because I'm filming in my room. And he was just like, he came in the room like, we're not doing that. Like, we've been stopped doing that. Like, why are we reverting back to that? No. What do you need to say to me, lady? You know what I'm saying? Like, he had to come to me like, we're not going back there. We have surpassed that. We're not going back to that. So I think too, someone in the marriage being, and we both do this, being the one to say no, like not being so concerned with our pride, like I'm not going to go apologize first, or I'm not going to put a stop to a bad situation or a bad habit that we have first. You can't have that mindset in a marriage. Like you can't. I thought you can, but you can't. And I'm being honest, you can't do that. So both of us have gotten to the point where if I feel like we're doing something that's petty or like we're reverting back to old habits that we broke. It's like, we ain't doing that. Remember what we said? Like, we ain't doing that no more. So let's not do that. Let's go back to working out the way that we normally work things out. Like, we're not reverting backwards. We're going forward. We're not going backwards. We're moving forward. We ain't going backwards. We're moving forward. So yeah, he just did that to me and I laughed like, oh snap. He got me. And it's just having a partner that can do that for you, which makes the marriage a little bit easier, a lot easier if you tell me, or if you ask me, because I feel like a lot of issues in marriages is lack thereof of communication and definitely lack thereof of understanding. And then also being able to check yourself. Like, it's so hard for people to realize that they may have hurt somebody. I don't know why we're like that. Or maybe I'm the only one. Sometimes I'm working on it. I'm getting a lot better with it, but it used to be really hard for me to realize that maybe I'm the one that's wrong. Because in my mind, I'm always right. Like, ladies, like, am I the only woman that feels like, I'm always right. Like, nothing I say is wrong. Nothing I do is really wrong. Like, my way is really the best way. Like, that's how I thought. And no, that ain't true, ladies. We're not always right. Our husbands, our fiancés, our boyfriends that we're looking to be husbands, fiancés, like they can be right too. Like men are not that dumb. Lack of a better word. They're not that uneducated to know things, ladies. So give your husband or spouse, fiance, whomever, give them a chance and recognize that sometimes, ladies, it's us. And we need to check ourselves. You can only be responsible for you. And 9 times out of 10, sorry men, but once we women start doing something, it's always that we possibly will have to start first sometimes. And then the men will follow. So if I start talking to him in a better way, or start showing him that I'm trying to understand him more, or giving up and relinquishing power that I thought I had, that I was trying to hold on to him more, then he's going to follow suit. Then he's going to talk to me in a better tone. And then he's going to find ways to try to understand me better. And then he's going to find ways to relinquish any power he felt like he had to allow me to be who I am in the marriage. Sometimes it does work out that way where it's the woman, we're strong, man. Like we have a lot of influencing over our men that we don't even take advantage of. Like we can really get our way, ladies, without being big ITCHs. Like I thought I had to be that word in order to get my way. It's like when I'm humble and nice, I can't never get my way. Like, y'all act a fool. That's how you say, these fools acting a fool. I can't never. But when I'm acting like a bitch, I feel like they get in line. They get in line. But even when I was doing that, it never lasts long. When I was like acting crazy and being hardcore and being evil and mean and being that word, like it never, I mean, they'd be in line for a little bit, but then they go back to being buttholes. Like it never really worked. So you do catch more bees with honey, ladies. Like I know you've heard that saying. It is really true. So with Kelly, I definitely do get my way more. Hi, husband. I definitely do get my way, or I definitely do find that he is more willing to give me what I want when I'm nice, or when I'm like attentive to his needs as well. Then he follows suit. Like the funny laughing joke that I posted on my Facebook pages with Kelly, like I screenshot everything that I want. Anything that I want or like, I screenshot and I send it to him. So if anything comes up, a holiday, a special day, or just a just because day, and he's wondering what it is that I want, he don't have to come ask me because I didn't send it to him. Like I sent it to him. So any gifts that I have ever gotten from Kelly from the time that we've been married or whatever, he never really has to guess because I send him things. And so he picked up on that. And on Valentine's Day, we talked about it. And ever since then, he's been screenshotting things and sending it to me. And I have went and purchased what he wanted because I already know what he wants. So it's like he saw what I was doing and it was benefiting me in the marriage because then he didn't have to second guess and I have to be like, why you bag me this? I wouldn't even want this, or you don't even know what I like. We ain't got to do all that. I don't need you to guess. I'm going to give it to you. Stop making them guess, like, to prove their love to you. Like, I really believe he can prove his love in other ways. I don't need you to be guessing about what I want. I'm going to tell you what I want. Ladies, like men, they can't read our minds as much as we would love for them to. A lot of times you have to like bait them in and give them things. And so like he picked that up on me and now he does it. So sometimes, ladies, we have to start the trend and they'll follow suit. They'll definitely follow suit. So yes, I'm not going to make this a very long video. I hope those questions and those answers help someone. If you want a part 2 and you have more questions for me, like I stated, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. You could definitely DM me, comment under my video. Not in my video. This video you can comment under, or comment under my pictures, or if you want to keep it private, DM me and ask me questions, and I'll definitely do a part 2 of marriage. If you want me to have my husband on with me and he can speak on the men part of what men think and what men are going through, I can definitely do that. Just let me know. I love you guys so much. I really hope this was beneficial and help someone in certain capacities in your marriage. Like I stated, if you feel like you need more detailed or more questions answered, I am here for you and I'll answer them the best way that I can based off my experience and things that have worked for my marriage. So thank you guys for sticking in, and I hope you watched this whole video. Do not forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and then thumbs up the video if you like this content. And we can do more comfy convos on marriages and questions. And like I said, I could bring my husband. I can definitely do a lot more with this conversational piece because it's a really good one. So thank you guys so much. I love you. Till the next comfy convos. Deuces.